Alright, so here we go. First of either one really long video or a couple of shorter ones. You can see we're looking at the house and my faithful trusty steed. So this is Old Bellinger Scale. So I'm going to try and show you best I can stuff. We're of course looking right now west from the side of the property. I'm at the fence, the eastern fence of the property, looking west. And as you can see, like, there's the pine trees, the big pine trees in the house, and then you can see up the driveway. All right, and there's the corner of the property. All right, what would be the southeast corner of the property at that telephone pole, from what I can make out. So here's the fence line, and the first question I'll show you is this is the neighbors. There's the white house right there, gives you kind of a perspective. There's a little pasture over here in between the two, which I'm going to guess is part of theirs, but I have no clue. And then, of course, there's the blue house. It's a little further down. They're close enough, but not super close. There's pastures in between, trees in between. And then, of course, this goes down the fence line into the back pasture, so we'll start walking. There's a good spot right here to look down. You can kind of get a chance. This is a flat parking area that's gravel right here that travels down about almost 50 feet down from the road, which is where I am. You can look down. You can see there's an area here with some trees. This might be where there's something in here useful. And then you can see the back pasture, which I'm pretty sure now, after doing some measuring, is part of the property. I have to know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. So you can get a good semi look at it. You see there's fencing in the back, there's fencing here. It's not the best, but I mean, it's usable for now for what we need it for, since I don't think the alpacas will jump it. You can see now the back of the house. This is the flat spot in the backyard right here. There's an old planting box right here made of wood. And you can see good dogs. I'm setting off dogs next door, so it's good security, added security. So this flat spot is what I call like the backyard area, and it also heads towards that little mid-ground area. I think this mid-ground area is where the septic field is. I'm not sure, but I do know that the septic tank is down here because the opening to it is right over here behind the greenhouse in the ground. There's a big hole there right now, but you can see the brush is kind of not taken care of and overgrown. That's why I said like a couple thousand goats would make this much better. And then, of course, here's the greenhouse, which is in big time disrepair but could easily be fixed. The outside of it's really bad, but the shell on the inside isn't too bad. There's even some old tables, potting benches and stuff in there. You look at the other side of the house, the little retaining wall that comes off the concrete structure, back structure of the house here, which could be used for who knows what. But it's a nice flat area. The ground just needs to be filled in, the dirt, because there are some little gullies here. You can see that goes right back up to the front, and you can see the whole part of the structure that is technically underground, even some above that, is concrete. So it's in really good shape. You can see more of the trees, the tree line up here as we go along. There's the greenhouse. Like you can see, it needs work on the outside, but the metal framing is in really good shape. So it's usable. Whether we build another greenhouse entirely or not, we could use that framing for something else. So continue to look the greenhouse down to that separate section with what could be fruit trees. I don't know what kind they are. They're really moss covered down there, so it'd be something that would really need to be looked into. And then, of course, here's the big barn. And to give you relation, there's the barn, greenhouse, house. So it's fairly close, the big barn. And so we'll maybe what I'll do is I'll do some separate videos going in and looking at each one, so you don't have to continually wade through the same video. But there's the woodshed, and you can see electrical out here. I'm trying not to point too much. There's the road up there, right up there. There's a brush pile and a trash pile. Like I said, the land really needs to be cleaned up more than anything. We could probably own a dumpster service after cleaning it up. But the land goes down here. There's a metal gate here that's bent. May need replacing, or may just need to be re-bent. It's supposedly a lifetime gate. But it's here on the side of the barn. This opens into, well, I would used to call the big pasture until I was pretty sure that the pasture down there is not only the bigger pasture, but also part of the property. You can see this is the entry for the hay area. Behind the feeders in the barn, there's a light. And so, you know, just goes to show electricals run out here. You can see blackberry and stuff on the ground and things like that. It's been kind of whacked down and beaten and, you know, kind of really destroyed. That's why I think, you know, goats would be a really good idea in here. To clean this pasture out, we probably want to then till it up, clean it up, reseed it with orchard grass, get it prepared for the girls. But here, I'll take us down and we can look at the other pasture, because it's really uneven in here as well. I'm not sure what they were doing in here before, but it's a super uneven piece of ground. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if they tilled it or if they just made a giant mess of it or whatever, but it's, you gotta be careful walking right now. Okay, so this is the big pasture in the back. I'm not sure how this place is 4.64 acres without this being part of this house. Especially in the condition it's in compared to the rest of the property around here. I get the feeling that it is part of this because it's about as well maintained as the rest of the yard. It's a huge pasture. I mean, I could eventually see this being where a big herd is, or cows or bison or whatever you wanted to put in here. And then of course you can see the tree line. And the tree line is of course where the edge of the property is. Property's about 130 feet long. So if you think about it, it's a third longer than our driveway was at the Hemet property, but that's the side. This is the little pasture I was telling you about that has the chicken coop in it, and then I'll show you the little shed that's at the top of it that's not completed because the end of it, top end of it up this way is not fenced anymore. But as you can see, I mean, that's pretty obviously meant to be like another little barn thing with a chicken coop attached to it. And that barn I haven't been in. Paul was in it. I think it's usable. I'm just not sure it's like something we'd want to keep around. We may want to replace it, unless, you know, that's where we kept the goats. So I'm walking back up here trying not to trip and die. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear the crackling of the mowed down blackberries under my feet. Woodshed again, which looks like it's in decent shape. It just needs to be cleaned out. And then of course the roof on the side needs to be rebuilt. This is for storage, but this was for keeping wood under. And it's collapsed, mostly because of debris. So this is the big central tree in the yard. Beautiful tree, cleaned up, be really nice. Old playhouse in the background, if you can see it, made out of sticks and twigs and branches. And so now, of course, we're looking down at that little barn with the chicken coop. You can see the tree line. And then right here is the little shed, which at first glance looks like a mess because the trees have kind of grown around it. and there's a free trailer, but and all the moss on top of it, but when you go inside it, it's a little mossy and dirty and needs to be cleaned up, but the ceiling is beautiful. So is the bracing. So it's a totally usable shed. This is what I was thinking. Get in here, get this gravel out of here, get this concrete and wood and garbage out of here, and just clean it up a little bit. This would be great for the boys, because we could wrap fencing around it back and down towards the other shed, and they would have the whole run of that, or we could just run fencing all up in here and out, and then they don't really even have much of a view of the girls' pen. So that's what I was just thinking. And that's basically the entire property without me being able to walk the entirety of the property. There's, you can see a mailbox that belongs to the house across the street, which is way back in the trees right there. And then of course the view, which is groovy. And I'm going to walk up on the street because I want to show you the street line. Totally easy to fence. Fence wouldn't be a complete straight line, but you could easily fence it in and put posts in, and I don't think it would be a big issue. So there's this is actually a separate like area that used to be used as a entry point with a driveway, because it's gravel, to like right about there. So, you know, easy to get trailers in, the RV, stuff like that there, and get it down to a permanent resting place. So this is the view from the road to the west. That is a cattle farm. Right there they got cows. Right now they got little baby cows, which I know my wife loves and I know my mother-in-law loves. This is looking down Old Bellinger Scale to the east. You can see, you can hardly, or on this you probably can't even see the house in the tree. But here's the road, and then you can start to get a sense of the view and some of the mature trees that are on the property. My favorite view is from the end of the walkway up to the house, which is right here. Love that view, especially on a day like today. Alright, so this is our full tour. It takes